This is a plea to the charge, as I understand it. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor. Further, there is a sentencing agreement, the Killebrew agreement of no upfront jail. And
sure, we'll get to that. Ms. Allen, would you read the charge, please?
In the People of the State of Michigan versus Damon Hemphill, file 20-757-FH, State of Michigan, County of Ingham. In the name of the people of the State of Michigan, the prosecuting attorney for this county appears before the court and informs the court that on or about May 12, 2020, at Cedar and Miller in the city of Lansing, Ingham County, the defendant did in count 1 commit the offense of carrying a concealed weapon, that he did carry a dangerous weapon, to wit, a pistol, concealed on or about his person, and whether concealed or otherwise in a vehicle operated or occupied by said defendant, to wit, a Dodge Journey, contrary to Michigan law. This is a felony punishable by up to 5 years or $2,500, mandatory forfeiture of weapon or device, and was committed against the peace and dignity of the state of Michigan.
Mr. Hemphill, you're being charged here with carrying a pistol in an automobile. That is a felony punishable by up to 5 years in prison. Have you had enough time to talk about the charge with your attorney?
Yes.
Do you understand the charge against you?
Can you say that one more time, please?
Do you understand the charge against you?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions about what we're doing today?
No, ma'am.
Okay, and how do you want to plead?
I was actually, when I was talking to my attorney, I was seeing if it was possible if I do plead guilty, could I possibly receive the HIDA program or anything like that?
Your attorney already filed a petition asking me to give you YTA status. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Now, I can't guarantee I'm granting it or not because I have to decide that at sentencing, but your attorney did file that. Do you have any other questions?
So what would be the final plea offer then?
I think what they're talking about is you're pleading to the charge and there's going to be an agreement of no upfront jail, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Okay. Okay, yes, you can continue. It's okay.
Okay, and you want to plead guilty, is that right?
Yes.
If your plea of guilty is accepted by this court, it means you won't have a trial of any kind, and you'll be giving up the rights that go along with a trial. That includes the right to a trial by jury, or if you didn't want trial by jury, trial by judge. You'll be giving up the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty, and the right to require the prosecutor to prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You'll also be giving up your right to have the witnesses against you appear at the trial and to be able to cross-examine them, as well as the right for this court to order any witnesses that you might have to appear at the trial. You will give up the right to remain silent at the trial and not to have your silence used against you, or if you wanted to testify at the trial. Also, a couple things you need to know about appeals when you plead guilty. One is you don't get an automatic right to appeal to the higher court. Instead, you have to ask them to hear your case, and they have to agree. And the other thing is that when you plead guilty, there's a lot of issues that you cannot appeal to the higher court. Do you understand those rights?
Yes.
Also, if I accept your plea, it means you cannot come back later on and try to say that the plea was the result of some promise or threat that no one told me about today. Do you understand that?
Yes.
It also means you cannot come back later on and try to say that it really wasn't your own choice to plead guilty today. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there a plea agreement, Ms. Allen?
There is, Your Honor. Today, the defendant is pleading guilty to the charge. There is a sentence agreement pursuant to People v. Killebrew that the defendant receive no upfront jail. We also have no objection to him receiving treatment under the Holmes Youthful Trainee Act if he is otherwise eligible, and he appears to be based on our file.
Is that a full and complete statement, Mr. Sartz?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, now Mr. Hemphill, you heard all that?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, is that your understanding of the agreement as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you agree with it?
Yes.
There's an agreement about your sentence that you would receive no upfront jail. If for some reason I decided not to go along with that, I would tell you before I sentenced you, and I'd give you a chance to take back this plea and start all over if you wanted to. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything else that hasn't been said right now in order to get you to plead guilty?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone used any threats?
No, ma'am.
Is it your own choice to plead guilty?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you doing it because you believe you are in fact guilty of this offense?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, tell me about then what happened on or about May 12th of this year and involving a firearm of some kind.
I was on the corner of Miller and Cedar vacuuming on my car, and I was with my friend. And as I was getting in my vehicle, I got ambushed by like 7 or 8 different vehicles, different officers, undercover, state troopers. It was no Lansing police around, all state troopers and undercovers. They said my friend that I was with, they said he had a warrant. He just got out of jail, so that was impossible. And I personally feel like he didn't match that description at all. And I mean, I feel like I was just another black kid getting harassed, and that's all I have to say.
Okay, but you did have a firearm with you, is that right?
Yes.
And did you have it in the car?
Yes.
And it was a pistol, correct? A handgun?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you know that it was in the car with you?
Yes, ma'am.
And all of that happened in the area of Cedar and Miller in Lansing, Ingham County, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Has the court complied with MCR 6.302, Ms. Allen?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Sartz?
Court has, Your Honor. Thank you.
Are you aware of any promises, threats, or inducements other than those already placed on the record, Ms. Allen?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Sartz?
None, Your Honor. Sorry. Thank you.
Okay. The court finds the plea is understandingly and voluntarily made without undue influence, threats, or promises of leniency. It is an accurate plea. It's supported by the testimony. The plea is accepted, and I can give you a sentencing date of Monday, January 4th at 2:30, if that works for you, Mr. Sartz.
Yes, Your Honor. That should be fine. Thank you.
Okay, if your client consents, I will do it by Zoom again. I do think for sentencing, I need to have a video, so you can work with him on that, I think, Mr. Sartz, but I assume it's going to be okay with him to do it via Zoom.
Mr. Hemphill, did you hear all that?
Yes.
Are you okay with appearing by Zoom for your sentencing date?
Yes. I have a question about the sentencing day.
A question about what?
The sentencing day. So on that day about the sentencing, what am I getting sentenced to? Is it sentencing me for probation, parole, jail time, what?
Oh, I don't know yet what I'm going to sentence you to. I have to have a report from the probation department. It'll tell me all about you, and I'll make a decision at the time of sentencing. And that's the next thing I was going to tell you, is that you'll get contacted from the probation department to set up an interview. They want to talk to you and find out more about you so they can put it in the report that I'll use for sentencing. If they don't contact you in the next day or two to set up that interview, then I want you to contact them. It's Ingham County Adult Probation, and Mr. Sartz will give you the contact information. But you have to make sure that that interview's done well in advance of sentencing, so I'll have the report for sentencing, okay?
Okay.
Your bond is continued then, and that will be all.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. You're all set then, Mr. Hemphill.
All right, thank you.